Season's greetings and happy holidays. My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for another episode number 4 of the 12 Sprues of Kit-mas. Today we're going to jump on in there. We're going to see what we have in store for us today. So let's go ahead and grab that box, pop the next day, and we'll get started. So far so good. The first 3 days have been super fun. This day number 4 right here, we don't know what's going to be in there yet, but we're hoping it's as good as maybe 1 or 3. 2 was a little bit difficult, I can tell you, but 1 and 3 were really fun kits. So let's go ahead and punch on through here and see what day 4 has in store. Fish around in here, and I think we've got that label. Let's go ahead and pull that one out. And let's go ahead and check out what we're going to be building today. Looks like very cool. It's the Airfix 1/72nd scale Hawker Typhoon Mark 1B. So now I mentioned this before, but I have an actual plan for this particular build. I might take a little bit of flack for it, but I think it's going to be really awesome because at work, I've got a whole shelf that's dedicated to RAF aircraft. And I've got my Bolt and Paul Defiant that I built last year on a very cool little stand that I pulled from a Bandai model. And I want to go ahead and do this exactly the same way. So I don't want to go too heavy on the weathering. I don't want to do anything too fancy. I'm just going to leave out the cockpit, black out the canopy, because I want this thing looking like a desk display model that you would buy from a store or something like that. So that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to worry too much about any of the detailing and all that, though this is a really nice looking model, I have to admit. I just want to go ahead and build it up and go with the flow. Now this does have some really cool parts though, so if you're interested in making this a little bit more detailed, you can actually do a lot of detail work with this. You can actually open up the gun bays, you can check out all the ammo inside there. You can do a lot of really cool stuff with this one. It's got a decent looking cockpit, not the best in detail, but it's got something in there which looks okay, so I think it'd be passable. But like I said, I want this on a display right next to my Bolt and Paul Defiant. So all these extra parts we're just going to stick in the spares box, and we're going to build this one just like the Bolt and Paul from last year. But speaking of that, let's go ahead and jump into our first time lapse. Just going to push on through as fast as we can for the basic assembly, start filling up the seams, start sanding down some of the areas, come back in with some Mr. Surfacer primer, get it all nicely primed up, and then fingers crossed we'll be able to jump in there with paint and get this thing looking sharp. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started, see what we can do. All right, everybody, so we are back, and so far so good. The aircraft is ready for paint. That means we're going to have to come in with some pre-shade, and then we're going to have to go ahead and overcoat it with our camo pattern. This is a very basic camouflage pattern there for RAF aircraft. We've got some medium gray, some ocean gray, and some green. So that's what we're going to be using. I'm going to find some equivalents in my paint. I've got my Humbrol chart out here so I can figure out what paints to use. And then we're going to jump in there. We're going to do some pre-shade with NATO Black. We're going to come on back, hit that camo pattern there with some tape lines to get a nice clean demarcation between colors. And then we're going to mask everything off. We're going to hit the gloss coats on there. We're going to get the rocket parts on there. We're going to get everything ready to go. And then we'll be back and I'll show you guys what we come up with. Let's keep it rolling. All right, everybody, we are back. We're going to move over to the stand, and I've actually got a part out of one of my X-Wing kits. We're going to go ahead and use this because it matches the Bolt and Paul Defiant that I had last year. I used the exact same technique. I pulled another stand out of a different X-Wing, so we're going to go ahead and pull the other one out because I typically remake those bases anyway when I go ahead and do some sci-fi stuff. So we're going to pull out another base from another one of the Poe's X-Wings, and we're going to go ahead and make this into the stand for the Typhoon. Honestly, these Bandai stands are really, really nice. They go together well. They are usually interlocking, so I could technically interlock them if I really wanted to. The wing spans on these are a little bit too long to do that with, but they're very simple to use, and all we have to do is basically just push it together. It's a snap tight fit. We can come back in, we can paint it up, we can gloss coat it, make it look really sharp, attach the basic stand to the bottom of the aircraft. And that's usually just a real quick hole that we drill out, and then we can go ahead and just mount it to it, and we are good to go. So that is the plan. I'm going to go ahead and kind of clean it up a little bit, take off some of the edges, and then I'm going to go ahead and paint it with some black by Tamiya. Then we'll come back and I'll hit it with a gloss coat. Because like I said, I want to have a sister aircraft up there right next to the Defiant, and I think this is going to be a good candidate right here. Also, the camel pattern was really, really fun to do. I think it looks pretty nice, so I'm happy with it. Now to mount the stand, luckily for us, we have an opening right here in the bottom of the aircraft. I think it's supposed to be for a landing light of some sort. So we're not going to use that. We're going to actually take a drill bit here and we're going to just auger that out, and we're going to progressively get a little bit larger and larger until we fit the kit part from the Bandai stand. And I think we're actually pretty close with this the way it is. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fit it in here. I might open up the hole just a little bit more to make sure this actually drops right into place. Yeah, stands up perfectly fine. We can adjust the angle slightly, so that's nice. I'm going to go ahead and match it with the Defiant there at work, but I think this is a really good start. So let's go ahead and jump into the last time lapse here, guys. We're going to push on with some basic gloss coating, get that decals all set up, a little bit of weathering, not too much, not too little, just a tiny bit. And then we're going to finally assemble all the different parts and pieces, hit it with a nice semi-flat coat, and we'll be back and I'll show you guys what we do. All right, let's finish off day 4. And with that, everybody, we are finished off with day number 4 here on the 12 Sprues of Kit-mas. I gotta tell you, that was a really fun model to make, and it's gonna look absolutely awesome next to my Bolt and Paul Defiant. So I'm very excited to say we are done with day 4, and here it is. I think it looks pretty cool. The 1/72nd scale Airfix Hawker Typhoon Mark 1B, absolutely fantastic build, went together beautifully, hardly any issues with fit, didn't have many issues with seams, absolutely fantastic. So as you will notice, I went a little different direction with this. I went for more of like a desk display type model on a stand with the blacked out canopy. I think I've achieved that. I've got a nice gloss black base, and I've got a semi-flat aircraft, so it really kind of jumps out at you. Propeller does turn if you're interested in something like that, but overall, yeah, it's just meant for a real quick display to sit up there next to my Bolt and Paul Defiant, and I think it's going to look pretty neat right up next to its sister aircraft. Just a little bit of some washes here and there. The decals were absolutely fantastic. Most of the Airfix decals I've used over the years have been just great. No complaints whatsoever. I've got those rockets glued into the rails, and I've done a little touch-up painting there for the rocket rail connection points. Those work well. And of course, we've got that nice cool shark mouth there on the front. I did have to move the decals a little bit forward there on the left-hand side. On the decal sheet, they don't really show you how to place those, so I had to get a little bit fancy with that. But as you can see, I think they lined up nicely. Honestly, a really nice looking model. Had a blast with the paint job, used a mixture of Vallejo, Gunzy, and Tamiya paints. Then I just cut some masks out of some Scotch blue tape using my Mark I eyeball to kind of get it about what it should look like. Stuck it down, went section by section, painted it up, and we were good to go. So that is it. Like I said, build day number 4 is in the bag. We're going to go ahead and move on to day number 5. But anyway, guys, we were all finished up with build day number 4. Thank you so much for watching. This was a great model kit. Highly recommend. It's going to look awesome there on the display shelf next to my Bolt and Paul Defiant. And we'll see you back here on build day number 5. So until then, you guys know the drill. Get out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool. Hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season so far. And we'll see you back here on Wednesday for episode number 5. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Happy holidays, and we'll see you soon.